Dear brothers and sisters, we have gone through a period and still are going through a period in Trinidad and Tobago that would, if it didn't, affect our way of looking at things, and it has an impact on our culture and how we act, whether we are aware of it or not. I'm sure if you remember some years ago, with the effect of the tsunami, the disastrous effect of the tsunami could have been seen before and felt after. Culture is like the second part. We don't see it really if you don't look for it, if you don't have the eyes to see it. But we feel it, and we feel it now, and we feel it many years after. This Khutbah is a bit of what our Mufti Abdul had. A part of it was taken from it. A part was taken from other bits of scholars' work. Right? So it's on what is happening in our country now, but more importantly, it's the end really. About our spirituality. Allah says in the Quran, but there are among men those purchase idle tales without knowledge to mislead men from the path of Allah and throw ridicule on the path of such. There will be a humiliated chastisement. The concept of haya, shamefulness, modesty is considered a major Islamic virtue. And why I refer to culture, building of it is really culture, but the breaking of it is really culture too. An integral part of the character of the Muslim, as our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have said, al-hayamu min al-iman. Modesty or shamefulness is an integral part of Islam faith or higher. Shamefulness or modesty is in the basis of personal and social morality, values and behavior. It is because of haya in the hearts of the believers that you will not find the demonstration of affection between spouses in public. Islam came to eradicate every kind of ignorance. Our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came as the light which guided us and continue to guide us from the darkness of ignorance into the light of Islam. The believers, and I hope inshallah you and I, and those who deny the Holy Quran, don't rephrase that, not you and I. The unbelievers and those who deny the Holy Quran, and even those who deny the other revealed books of Allah, engage in these sinful activities of these times, all for the sake of satisfying their own carnal wishes. Clearly, the wishes of the unbelieving folks during these days become their God. And we are not immune to it. That is why I tried to touch a little bit on culture. What we see happening, sometimes we become part of it, indirectly or directly. This season brings with it the indiscriminate consumption of alcohol and everything which was made haram by our Creator. It brings nakedness and insults the high status of women, the gift given by Allah Himself to all women, and degrades the respect given to men by Allah through the noble teachings of our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. During this season, we see women dancing on the streets and displayed, and men. And sometimes, unfortunately, our brothers and sisters. And displaying their bodies for the public viewing, and men in most shameful states of drunkenness, enjoying themselves without the fear of Allah. Despite the uncertainty of the descent of his azab, his punishment. Islam has forbidden a woman, and I would say a man also, from putting on perfume and being in front of unrelated men, vice versa women. It has prohibited her from striking her feet on the ground when she walks to reveal the jingle of hidden ornaments. Can anyone, after considering these and so many other rulings, assume that women and men are allowed to mix, or freely mix, and mix with one another, and even more than that, party with the opposite sex? We need to check clearly what is going on in our house, in our homes, all of us. Because our homes are the building blocks of Jama'at, our Jama'at, and the building blocks of society. If our homes are strong, our Jama'ats will be strong, and society, inshallah, will be strong. It is absolutely clear from the Holy Quran and the teachings of our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Islam does not allow non-related men and women to meet each other whenever and however they like. It has placed clear regulation and restrictions upon such behavior and has defined the limits of interaction between men and women. Moreover, Islam has closed doors, all doors that lead to temptation and promiscuity, nakedness, and seeks to promote the status of women and men as it relates to the application of deen in our lives. While we think that the laws might be too harsh, it is designed to prevent these things from happening. As Muslims, we are further commanded to refrain from even gazing at any act of pornography. And we cannot hide from it as a society, whilst we can boast a little bit that our schools are fairly alright. It is pervading society, all schools, plenty homes, and we need to be careful. commanded to refrain from even gazing at any act of pornography, whether it be in public domain, the television, Facebook. I stop there, you should go on. The daily newspaper or other media channels, as our Creator revealed. Tell them, O Muhammad, my Lord has only forbidden indecent acts, whether open or hidden. Al-Quran, chapter 7, verse 33. As Muslims, we are supposed to be extremely careful and to ensure that we are in no way associated with events that can well, as our Creator says. Verily, those who love that indecency should spread among the believers, deserve a painful chastisement in the world and in the hereafter. Allah knows, but we do not know. Al-Quran 24:19. During this type of season, and this type of season I am saying it specifically because of culture, the season remains in us, in the people who participate and the people who watch. Indirect, right? It stays as part of our culture. In fact, it is pronounced to be part of our culture. So we need to be extra careful. And the culture that develops from it, many people are shaped to be, even some Muslims, particularly the young males, and I'm saying females also, find themselves attending various parties in the company of friends who drink alcohol and fornicate and who have the least regard for the commands of the Most High. Our young brothers and our young sisters are sometimes caught up with their friends in schools. We need to be careful. We allow our children to do all kinds of things in school. So, they are to participate. That is what we say. Be careful. Are sometimes caught up with their friends to such an extent that in order to fit in peer pressure, be aware of the pressure of their friends on them, the pressure of our friends on us to do things that we are not supposed to do. And they do it to maintain friendship, because friendship means a lot more than we can think for our children. It is belonging, and we want to belong. In order to fit in with their peers, they fall in the trap of shaitan and even indulge in premarital sexual activity against Allah and His Rasul commands. And as such, Allah warns us, He will incite you for shameful things and encourage you to do universally accepted wrong things. Al-Munkar, Quran 24:21. We know exactly what is going on. We know exactly, we are educated, we are the educated people, because we know Islam. So, we think we know Islam, right? The thing is that this happens slowly, like a thief in the night, and it takes our straight forward thinking away from us without we knowing. But it erodes the building blocks of our homes, block by block. Our Jamaat, block by block, and our society. The building blocks of an individual, all of us, are the same, the qualities, the respect that sometimes we do. Again, the little things like Tazim, Dua, those things are dividing us. When we should be concentrating on what should keep us together as a society and keep us strong as a Jamaat. We should be working, our youth should be working with the elders to build ourselves. Respect. We respect those. Respect as goals. Authority. The authority of the elders has gone. I'm talking generally. And I see it in the schools. Because we need to work together. The basic of Islam is unity. And we are disunifying ourselves by the minor things that we are concentrating on. And the larger picture is being lost. So the building blocks of an individual, and when we do that, we break the building blocks, the virtues within ourselves. Lack of respect is lack of you. It erodes in you first before you display lack of respect. So the building blocks of an individual are the same building blocks of society and the same building blocks of the nation. And you just work the opposite of that. And you'll see. Whatever society displays occupies a crevice that is considered whatever in our memory bank. It stays with us and we play it out after. And we sometimes play it out when we are not on guard or connected to Allah. How do we then connect to Allah, my dear brothers and sisters? Surah Anfal says, O you believe, give your response to Allah and His Messenger. When He calls you to that which will give you life, and know that Allah cometh in between a man and his heart, and it is He to whom you shall all be gathered. Surah 8:24. The first part of the ayah has a lot of implication and importance. And when the call comes from Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you must respond. Once our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam called out to a companion who was at the time in Salah. The companion didn't respond, but instead waited until he completed his Salah and then went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and informed him why he did not respond initially. To this, the Prophet reminded him that about the first part of the ayah quoted above. And listen, when we fail to respond to the Imam, when I say the Imam, I do not mean the Imam of our Masjid. I mean the Imam in your home, your father. We fail to respond. And the Imam in your Masjid too. This is what we are doing. We are disrespecting the Prophet. And this is the danger of it. The Prophet is reported to have said, verily the hearts of all the sons of Adam are between the two fingers out of the fingers of the compassionate Lord as one hand. He turns that any direction He likes. Allah is the comforter of hearts. Allah can guide us to righteousness or cause us to deviate. So all these things can go to the Lord if we want. If we respect, we love, we unite, and we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed. Allahumma ya muqallibal qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. O turn our hearts, Allah the Most High, keep our hearts firm on your religion. We need to understand why Allah says your wealth and your children are only a trial fitna for you. It is because they can come between Allah and your heart and divert your focus. The verse quoted above tells us that we should give nothing more preference than Allah. Don't let anything come in the way and hinder your connection. And listen, children are leading us, whether we know it or not. So we need to make stop. We give in to their requests, their desires, without thinking. A true believer will carry out all the necessary undertakings of the world, but his heart remains engaged in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to get involved in the world for our livelihood, of course, but don't be consumed by it to the extent that you give preference to it above your religious obligation. Do not put a curtain between Allah and your heart. Never forget that anytime you do wrong, a black spot will appear in our hearts. Allah says, Nay, but they have put stains on their hearts. Our goal should be to maintain a direct connection to Him. And it is not easy but possible. Inshallah, let us all try to make this jihad for ourselves and save our children and ourselves. And do not put between Him or spots between Him and yourselves. And leave the world in a clean and pure state, inshallah. Let us leave our homes, our jamaat, wherever we go, in a place that we need it. Inshallah, may Allah help us to achieve that.